Good morning, everybody. Let's have a look at these charts. We're going to focus on XRP this morning in the hope that it will move outside of Bitcoin's influence. It could happen. It could happen. Will it happen? I don't know. Could it happen? Oh, yeah. Yes, it definitely could. So I'm just going to show you, first of all, this blue line here is basically Bitcoin. So we're just going to see how correlated it has been and how it is just generally speaking. And it is obviously, you move up, you move up. You sort of go sideways and move up a little bit. You go sideways and move up a little bit. You move up and then you consolidate. That's interesting. You move up and consolidate, don't you? Then you find a dip, maybe even a low. Then you rally as you rally. And then you find a peak. You find a peak. And Bitcoin sort of goes sideways and XRP kind of goes down. This is a 4-hourly, by the way. Look at the weekly. Is there anything correlated on this weekly? Let's have a look. I really don't like using these charts. Okay, so you go up, you go down. You go up, you go down. You go up, you go down. You go up, you go up, and you go down. And then you go up, and you go down, and you go down. Hang on a minute, you go up and you go down. And you go up. So it's basically is correlated. Let's not beat around the bush. There is a very strong correlation that we're looking at here. All right, let's get rid of you then, sack you off. I just wanted to put it to you that there is a chance though, because there has been very small occasions where it has rallied. So let's have a think about XRP on its own merit. Right, so it's moved down in towards a 200 exponential, which is part of a golden cross. The golden cross sort of cancelled, well, confirmed, cancelled, confirmed, and is now still more or less diverging. Bit of convergence at the moment, but not too much. Still got a little bit of life, so long as XRP holds above 230, we'll call it. You've always got the 200 simple moving average below it, which is $2.24. The resistance is $2.40, and then beyond that is that 250. It's roughly around 252. We want to get above 260 really. So we've got support, we've got resistance. You got support, you got resistance. You got two supports, you got two resistances to think about, and then once this is broken, that's where you go to the new all-time high. So let's have a think about the weekly, because the weekly is the same as it always is. We had this resistance of momentum and volume, and we've broken out of both. So as far as I'm concerned, it is kind of wanting to move up. It has the capacity, but we do need to close above 250. You close above 250, you'll get a real sort of nice, sort of big, solid move on that one to the new all-time high. On the monthly, we're above all moving averages also, and with that, there is nothing much more to say. You've got supports down here at 184, you've got supports here back down to the 160, that's where we've sort of said for a long time, because that's where the peak was over here, and that's where the wick came down into. Not that I bought any, obviously I've got more than enough of this stuff. Yes, pretty much by far my biggest altcoin position has been for a long time, but if there was ever a point where I could have or would have entertained buying XRP, it would have been around the 160 area. But I didn't, obviously. What's the point? I've already got it. So, yeah, when we're looking at it from this perspective, 250 and 160. 90 cents difference between those two areas. And then obviously if we do go lower than that, we are talking much lower, obviously. I'm not suggesting that that's where we're going. I'm just pointing it to you in the high-term time frames. There's still a very good chart, really, continuously moving up. You know, we nailed it. The breakout pretty much to the month. That was one hell of a beast move, and we sort of expected nothing less than that, and we got it. So that's pretty good, and it's held. Despite all odds, it has held. So things are different for XRP. They've never been this way before. We're above all moving averages across all time frames, apart from the very short term time frames, really. But as far as these higher term time frames are concerned, they are epic. The last 12-month candle, in fact, this is the first time I've looked at this actually. The last 12-month candle for last year was an all-time high. And as it stands at the moment, we are generating what looks to be another all-time high candle body. We're talking bodies, not wicks, bodies. Previous body was $2. This one was, $2.08. Currently $2.37. So it's not bad. You know, it's really good. And this is not just good for it now, it's good for it long term. You want to think about XRP in the short term, that's cool, that's fine, that's a trader's paradise. You want to think about it long term, it's looking really good. It's probably the best thing out there, really, to be honest with you, because it's a very old chart and it's broken its previous formation. This hasn't done a big pump and dump as it has in the past. This has done a pump and it's sustained higher levels. That's not in XRP's normal behavior. So it would look like that we've broken away from the from XRP being valued in cents, and now we're going to sustain XRP being valued in dollars. I don't know where it's going to peak and at what place it will hold. It might mean that we rally to a new all-time high, 3, 5, 10 or more dollars before this is finished. But then when the consolidation takes place, maybe the lowest it goes is $1.60. I think there's a very good chance that it will continue to hold above at least $1, and we will think about XRP in dollars and not cents. That's just my expectation. Not because I want it to be, but because I recognise that in the previous cycles, let me just turn off all this noise, really. Let's turn everything off. I want it all off. Actually, I'll just turn the indicators off and we'll keep the formations because they have been quite valuable in the past. Put it to log scale. So this is what I'm talking about. We've had this sort of very sort of erratic XRP style move. When it first came out, it was like 0.3 of a cent. Peaked up here at a whopping 5 or 6 cents. Then consolidated within a, well, you can call it a symmetrical or descending, but some kind of triangle formation until it finally broke out several years later. And then it was valued at that point in actual cents. That's where the cents kicked in. So this was fractions of a cent. We're going up and down below 1 cent. And then it did the parabolic move, and then it was valued in cents. Cents for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, valued in roughly we'll call it 50 cents, right? That's why everyone will say, oh, it's always supposed to be at 50 cents. That is its design. Well, whatever the case, it's left that behind, and now we've got into something else. So, broken out, now it's in dollars, okay? Dollars. Are we going to stay in dollars for years? Are we going to peak dramatically? I'm not going to say that we're going to go into like double-digit dollars. But dollars nonetheless. Are we going to stay in this for, 5 years? Frustrating the hell out of everybody who bought these peaks. Oh, don't you know? XRP's designed to stay at $1.50. It's its design. And then 5 years from now, kapow, And then, don't you know XRP's designed to stay at $25? That's its design. 5 years later, kapow. Don't you know XRP's designed to stay at $100? That's its design. 5 years later. You get the point, right? So, when you look at it like this, I know it's messy, my drawings are always messy, but, bang, whew, new formation. Bang, whew, new formation. Maybe we're looking at the Bitcoin, at XRP in a new way, which is, and again, this is just an observation, it's just a model, but remember, we nailed it based on just these two. There is a way that you could look at it in terms of threes, but in these terms of twos, we nailed it as well. So there's a whole other type of formation that you can do to it, which correlates with the 4-year market cycle for Bitcoin. But if you do it like this, or if you do it like the 4-year cycle, whichever way you want to do it, it still measures out that it likes to get towards the end of a triangle over a very long consolidation, and then it breaks out. And that's basically what we're seeing here. And so I'm just here to say to you that we might be fannying around between $1.50 and perhaps maybe $5 or something like that before we break out and do another big supermassive move. So does that mean you should sell, or does that mean you should hold? It's an up-only chart. Remember when I used to say that? People go, what are you talking about, an up-only chart? It is an up-only chart. there's so many altcoins that do not look like this. So many altcoins come onto the market and they just go down and down and down and down forever. Now, I appreciate this is a 12-month chart, but you know, if you're thinking about, I suppose it's a bit late for a lot of people, but if you're thinking about buying into something which has a good degree of success, XRP has been one of those choices, although it has been quite a slow process in getting to sustainable profit, but it depends where you bought it. I mean, the first time I ever bought it was around 3 cents. 3 cents. Obviously, I don't have the XRP I bought at 3 cents. I sold that when it was around $2 something. But, you know, so would you, right? The majority of the XRP that I've got this time is probably roughly around the 30s, you know, around the 30-cent zone. And, you know, that's still a decent move so far, you know, decent profit so far. But all I'm trying to point out is an up-only chart that, yeah, there's a correlation to Bitcoin. Of course there is. It's a crypto at the end of the day. But up-only over a prolonged period of time should continue to sustain higher prices. But let's think about it in terms of, you know, batches of 4-5 years, you know. 4 or 5 years, you'll get another breakout. And I mean a big one, where it changes, where it leaves the fractions of a cent, turns into cents. Leaves the cents, goes to dollars. Goes from dollars to double-digit dollars in perhaps maybe another 3 years from now. Right, I'll leave it there. Hopefully that has been somewhere useful. If it hasn't, let me know. Kindly. And if it has, let me know. Because the algorithm seems to like comments. But only if you've watched the video all the way through, this is what I've been told. And also if you like the video at this point now, that also shows good retention and might boost the algorithm somewhat. You know, I need it. Since being away, my videos have been sporadic. My live streams have been close to non-existent. So, but if you do want to join the Patreon, I am doing one tonight. So maybe I'll see you in the Patreon for a live stream. And you can ask me whatever you want to know. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.